In the Daintree here, we sort of pride ourselves in sorting out or trying to source some rare species, endangered species, and probably as many of the primitive species as possible. One of the primitive species is Mueller's oak, and it's also one of the 19 listed in worldwide. I'm led to believe that 12 of them grow in this region, so it's very important we propagate it up. This is Mueller's oak. Comes in a seed pod, very long like this, in which then it's probably, if I could just demonstrate, it's like this, and as it dries out it opens up, and inside each of these seed pods are these paper thin seeds, which then fly about in the wind and dispersed by wind. This is the embryo here, and when it lands on the ground it will shoot straight through there and put a shoot into the ground, and then you'll get your monocot leaves and it goes from there. This is one of the Mueller's oak which has germinated. It has, these are your monocot leaves, in other words they're the shape of the embryo that's there. From there it will grow these split leaves or everted leaves. We have been trying very hard to grow this guy. We've never been able to catch the seed, and those that we do have not been a viable seed. But simply they've dispersed a long way. If you look around the wind that we're getting behind us now, you can imagine these seeds blowing for kilometres actually. But this is our first one that we've got here. It's the first one we've been able to germinate. Most people are familiar with your black bean seed pods, usually about that long. If they're large they do become singular. Our kids used to love making boats out of them, out of the seed pod. But within the seed pods you have these seeds, which are, they're a legume, a very large legume, 30-metre tree, and they are some of the biggest seeds we collect. We also have Cerbera, which is your cassary plum, and your cassary satnash, all a very large seed about that big. Okay, we've come from the largest of the tree species right to the smallest. And what we've found in general, most of the largest trees have the smallest seeds. Yeah, like our tree, have very small seeds. Most of the seeds are about the size of a pinhead or even smaller. This is your sandpaper fig. We spread this over a seed tray, and this is what happens. A very fine seed comes up. These will eventually grow, and what we'll do is we'll pinch them out when they're about this size and pot them on. Your figs in general are your smaller type of seed, and then what you have, the next step up is your wind dispersed seeds, which look like your little thistles. They'll fly through the air, especially on days like this. Okay, once we've collected the seed, what we do then is we put our cages on, because the local wildlife likes to come and repossess what we have taken from the rainforest, which is their food source. We grow them on or germinate from there and grow them to a certain stage. Now these are our red cedar trees, which were once very valued up here in Queensland. A lot of them were cut down and just left with the marks of the owner who cut them down, but they were never harvested properly. We've managed to get seeds, and these are Tuna ciliata, or red cedar. From there we have grown them up and put them into 1 litre pots. From these 1 litre pots we just wait for them to get a bit bigger, and the cedar I have just shown you then turns into these very soft little trees, and they are then, when they're this size, taken out of the nursery where they've been protected by the shade cloth. It's a 50% cloth. It does a really wonderful job of dispersing raindrops, creates a mist, and that's what actually feeds us. Once they've grown to this stage here, they're very soft, as you can see. They bend very easily. They go outside, hardened up in the sun, and once they've toughened up out there, they get planted out into the fields wherever they need to go.